uh, up in the mountains on my way back from Beaver speaking, so I think we had some technical issues getting access to the internet there for a second in my previous attempt. Anyway, just real quick, on my way back from Beaver, the Right to Liberty event, fantastic event last night in Rochester, PA. Appreciate the invite. A lot of great people out there. Vice President of the Pennsylvania Patriot Coalition, Tony Shoup, was there, and Team Red. And I got to tell you what, man, those guys, MJ Costello and Tony G, doing amazing stuff. And you want to get fired up, go listen to Tony G speak for a while. He will fire you up. If you need motivation, that guy can provide it. So again, thank you very much to everybody that was there. Fantastic conversations. I apologize for the road noise in the background. I am literally on the road, still trying to make it back home to Northeast PA. But I wanted to take a moment just to talk for just a couple of minutes about something that a whole bunch of people have brought to my attention, and I think is a little time sensitive. There has been some news coverage recently of a school district up in the Johnstown area. I think it's called the Greater Johnstown School District, and a gender transition plan that they have place in school. And I think this plan has actually been in place for some time. It's only maybe just now coming to attention more broadly. But why I really want to call everybody's attention to it is because I think there is a tendency on the part of folks to think that this whole issue about transgenderism, gender transition, and so forth, that it's not a particularly big deal. And if it's going on, it's going on somewhere in San Francisco or someplace else. It's not a mainstream thing. You don't have to worry about it in your schools. Well, I mean, if you know the Johnstown area, and I'm pretty familiar with it, you're talking about the middle of Pennsylvania. You're not talking about some shishi neighborhood. You're definitely not talking about the San Francisco Bay Area. This is an old school, rock solid Pennsylvania area, once upon a time heavily coal mining families and so forth. In fact, it's my wife's family, when they first came over from Poland, that's the area where they settled, and they were coal miners at that point. So this is middle America, man. This is rock solid, largely MAGA country in a lot of ways. And the recent coverage of the gender transition plan in the school has focused on whether or not the parents are informed of what's going on with their kids. And the school district has pushed back kind of energetically, and there have been the predictable articles in the mainstream, if that's the right word, press, saying that the conservative media that's attacking the plan has misstated some things, hasn't gotten things exactly right. But the real central issue is missed here. I mean, the response from the school effectively is, well, no, it's not true that we cut the parents out. We talked to the parents. The parents are informed. The parents are sort of in the loop. Okay, that's not really the point. The point is whether you're paying lip service to giving the parents notice or not telling the parents at all. The bottom line is that we have a school district that is theoretically supposed to be teaching your kids reading, writing, arithmetic, right? Which they're doing an atrocious job of most places. That's what they're supposed to be doing. But instead, what they're doing is engaging with your child on this whole issue of gender transition. And then they're actually meeting and convening and discussing and making decisions about whether your kid should be transitioned. Now, let's just grab a hold of this concept for a second. First of all, gender dysphoria, this entire idea that you're confused about your gender, has really historically always been considered to be a psychological issue. I mean, you don't need cut up. You need treated for whatever the psychological issues are that are underpinning this, right? And so just starting from Jump Street, the idea that there even is such a concept as people who are somehow caught in the wrong body and are guys but are really girls and should be physically transitioned. Treating this as if this is now the newest settled science and we've all agreed to this and this is a normal thing and we should proceed. That in and of itself is kind of crazy. Nobody ever agreed to that. I mean, we have a bunch of school administrators charging down a road based on a theory about something that the country as a whole has by absolutely no means agreed to. Then we come to the part where you're talking about a bunch of young kids who are incredibly impressionable, right? That's why we don't let them buy cigarettes. That's why we protect them from everything under the sun, because that's what they need. And now you're going to force feed them this ideology and this psychology and tell these guys, these girls and boys, that this is normal and basically brainwash them into believing that they are somehow mysteriously not really the gender that they obviously are. And then on top of all of that, now we have the idea that at best the parents are going to be advised of the fact that a bunch of school administrators and bureaucrats are going to be having discussions and making decisions and pushing this whole agenda. And so, the big deal would be that you might actually be told that the teachers at your school are getting ready to start your kid down a path toward being chemically castrated and hacked up and mutilated. I mean, I'd say the whole thing is laughable, but obviously it's not a laughing matter. It's crazy, and there is no dispute over the fact that in Johnstown, the school district has this plan. They haven't refuted that at all. They've just said you got a couple of the fine points wrong in your coverage. But it isn't just Johnstown, folks. This is going on in every school district all over the state of Pennsylvania. And if you're not aware of it, you need to get aware of it. And you need to go to your school districts, go to your school boards and push back and shut this down before you get a form from your kid's school telling you that at the most you're going to be invited to a meeting at which they're going to make the decisions about how they're turning Johnny into C. Again, all the folks out there in Beaver, thanks very much for having me. It was a good time and a very productive meeting. We'll talk again soon.